RCTV-UK guys. I'm here with Tommy and Rob, and this is the Easy Track RSSI. So Tommy, this is your idea, your baby guys. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, that's basically was inspired from Alex Greve iBcrazy's one. It's come out in RC groups a couple of years ago. We looked at it, contacted them, so I'd be interested in making a 5.8 version. So we went down that route, which was an analogue board, still using the built-in modules on the board, but it wasn't really good enough for markets. There was too much vibrations in it. So then Rob come along and he went into Arduino and he's set the code up for it all. It's a lot more efficient now.
Yeah. I guess essentially, the reason Tommy and I obviously met is that I had started work, really as a hobbyist tracker, very much along the same line. Some people on the forums probably have seen some of my exploits. They some worked, some didn't, and really, I guess when we teamed up, things started to really move in the right direction. We put together the team to get the 3D case done. I sat down and started working on the Arduino side and spent several months just getting this thing tuned to work very, very well, which it does. But obviously as time's gone on, we've moved it forwards, made it better, really turned into a full-featured product for everyone.
So I suppose the first thing that needs explaining is that a normal tracker requires you to have something in your craft for it to follow, but the Easy Tracker doesn't.
Correct. The traditional way everyone tracks with GPS requires you to have a transponder picking up the GPS signal on the plane, sends the signal down to the tracker, which tells it where to go. This works in a completely different principle. You'll notice there's 3 antennas on this. It's a relatively simple principle known as the Breitenberg method, and what it's doing is measuring signal strength between that antenna and that antenna, and all it does is say, let's move the antenna towards the strongest signal. So, obviously we can't see an aircraft at this point, but if the aircraft was moving in this direction, along the head moves, and keeps pretty much locked and solid. Being digital, everything works pretty much, it will lock onto that aircraft and stay there and never move off it.
That's such a brilliant idea, because at the moment, if you want to track anything, like I'm saying, you've got to have some sort of GPS module in your craft. You've got to add some sort of OSD that's got that functionality. But I guess that's why you're going with Easy Tracker, because RSSI, because it literally follows the RSSI signal.
Exactly, it's easy.
Or it uses the RSSI signal to track, shall I say.
Setup with this tracker is as simple as powering your radio on, tuning into the channel, and off you go. It will follow. If you wanted to hitch a ride with someone else who's flying, tune into their channel, it will follow them. It's really got no issue. Just plug your frequency and off you go. I think.
So I'm asking the questions like I don't already know this, but I've talked to Tommy and Rob about this already. I know what this unit is capable of and how it works, but we're asking the questions and answering the questions so that you guys get to understand how simple it is. And I mean simple in the terms of there isn't anything as easy as this to set up, as far as I'm aware, that will track your plane. And you're not limited to a sort of a low gain wide antenna. I'm assuming with this, what are they, 7-ton?
These are 7 turns. Yeah, these are 14 dBi antennas.
So these are 14 dBi antennas, which will either give you really good range or better penetration. It will grab the signal from a wooded area better than a wide low gain antenna. But I guess you could go up to 14 turn. Essentially,
there's really nothing stopping you. The track is completely adjustable, so these heads can change with angles, because obviously as you change your gain, the beam width varies, so there's a degree of tuning. Out the box, it will work completely with these antennas. It's been tested with cheap antennas, expensive antennas. In all cases, it works, and it works very well. I personally wouldn't advise going down to anything lower than a 5-turn, simply because the beam gets a little bit wide, and you're going to find as the beam gets wider, it doesn't really track as well as you want. So what's key is these two antennas being high gain. So 7-turn at least, and you're going to really be locked on.
Brilliant. So we're going to get out in the field with this now, guys. Going to get some footage of the Easy Tracker RSSI unit in use. Looks like it's a little bit windy out there, but at least it's not raining or snowing. Let's get out and have a look at it in the field, shall we?
I could say something that I would point out, which is very, very important, particularly for all the European flyers. This really does open up the door for 25 milliwatt. You're talking the potential of a kilometre range flying with these antennas on it. It will track, it will lock on. You can fly 100% legal. This camera angle is so much nicer. I used to, on those sort of dives, I'd be looking at the floor.
So I'm just going to explain what you're seeing there, guys, was what looked like lag in the system was just oversaturation. What was happening was the two outside antennas were detecting that the sensor antenna had 100% coverage. So at that point, the tracker just shuts down until they detect that there is a need to move the tracker. So what you're not seeing what I thought at first was a failure. I could see when I was on the goggles and it was happening, it was just there was no need for it to move, so it didn't. Is that what they call a touch and crash?
That's what I call a cock-up.
Brilliant. While you're there, Rob,
yeah.
Can you just run us through what it is you'll find? Because I know people are going to ask. Just zoom out. This
is a little mini Skywalker.
Yeah, let's wait for the sign. Yeah. Sorry guys, try and go into I say, what is this? This is brilliant.
This is a mini Skywalker. A lovely little model, as you can see, extremely small. In terms of setup, I've got a small transmitter on here. It's a little 200 milliwatt 32 channel transmitter. Up in the front here, I'm running a 1000 milliamp pack. I've got a bog standard Sony Superhad CCD up front here. You'll notice I've buried it right up into the nose here. You know, I've run these mini Skywalkers in a variety of guises. I've had the cameras up here, I've had them all over. This, in my opinion, is the best. The plane flies the best. It doesn't slow down, it just goes.
Is it robust?
Incredibly robust.
I should imagine it's like, so there's no inertia.
I think all up, you know, I would estimate this at being about 400 grams of weight.
Blimey,
There's
it's
really
less than my mini quad.
It's a tiny little plane, 15 odd minutes of power on it. I've got a full on-screen display setting on this here. I've got a Cyclops Breeze running in it, which is kind of the smaller thing, so it doesn't have return to home or anything like that.
Yeah, just sort of battery values and that kind of thing.
But when you get down to it, this model, 15 minutes of absolute pleasure. You know? Yeah, no, I was saying I'm a really big fan of this as an FPV platform. It's a simple model, everything's easy to access, it can fly in small fields. I think it's a really underrated platform that more people should be using for FPV.
Should we see it in the air?
Yeah, why not? You ready?
Yeah. Yep.
There's a DVR on, by the way.
Yeah.
On the ground station.
Yeah. Well, there's us over there, look. Brilliant. Welcome to windy and cloudy Hemel Hempstead. Oh wow, that's awesome. I've never actually looked for a head tracking system before, so
It's a lot easier if you're not flying.
I'll bet, yeah.
Well, the funny thing with this plane is you can open full throttle, makes no difference. Half throttle's going to climb as fast as it's going to climb. Just such a draggy airframe.
Yeah. They have a sort of an optimum speed, well, not optimum, but a maximum speed.
Yeah.
Once you've found the airframe's maximum speed, that's it, isn't it? All you do is make noise and burn amps. Oh, that's superb. Absolutely superb. The signal is just locked on, and it looks like there's a little bit of noise coming from the motors on this, but you know, even when we got sort of get above the aerials where the tracker should start to struggle, or where you'd imagine it would struggle, it doesn't. It's just absolutely locked on. Could we go? Oh no, you're line of sight.
I can't go too far, unfortunately.
Yeah, go on, go the other end. I'll tell you to go left or right. No, I'm only joking. That's superb. Absolutely superb.
Okay, just giving a quick rundown of some of the menus on this tracker. As you can see, we're currently on the run menu. When you want to start tracking, it's as simple as selecting run and off you go. As we go down the menus, you can go in and set your channel. There's a variety of sub-menus on this where you can set it manually, choose which individual one you wanted in the frequency. You could scan for the strongest channel in the area, or you can browse for the various channels and it will show you a list of all potential ones that are around. If we jump back one, we can go to the next menu down, which you'll notice is advanced. We can calibrate the tracker. This is a job you don't really need to do every time you go to the field. You could do it once, probably be absolutely fine, but sometimes if you're in a very noisy environment you may want to recalibrate just to make sure you've compensated for any problems. You know, changing your antennas, it's probably worth recalibrating. Down here we can set the speed of the tracker. Now, stock values would be absolutely fine. The system will track pretty much anything that we've flown and tested with, from, you know, your rad jets through to your Skywalkers. However, you know, you never know, in the future maybe you're going to be wanting to fly some kind of pulse jet driven FPV model. It might be prudent to increase the setting to allow the tracker to track it just that little bit faster. We have a value down here called center hold. Now, this value essentially sets how long the tracker doesn't move for when it's got a lock. So to avoid any jitter in the tracker moving around, because the signals are coming in at a variety of strength, the center hold says, okay, I've got a lock, don't move for that period of time until the signal gets beyond a certain strength. As we go further down, you have a filter. The tracker has a piece of software in it called a Kalman filter, which essentially tries to predict which direction the tracker is about to go. It's got a tunable parameter which determines the sensitivity of the system. Again, stock value will be more than adequate, but you know, feel free to experiment. You might find things work better or worse depending on your antenna. And we move down to another couple of options. There's servo center left, servo center right. If for any reason you changed your servo on the system, what this value does is servos have a position at which they either move left or right, where they don't actually respond to the PPM signal coming in. Every servo from every manufacturer is different, so the only way to find these values is you can adjust these values to essentially set them. Again, manufacturer servo, not going to have a problem. And finally, there's a servo reverse option, and again, if for example the servo had to be changed, you could, if the manufacturer's servo moved a different direction for any reason, it's possible in the software to configure that out the box. And finally, the last option in here, you have a voltage alarm. The tracker will happily run on a 2-cell. We'd recommend running it on a 3-cell, but if perchance you wanted to run it on 2-cell, it's quite feasible to change the value. And again, maybe you're running a lead acid battery or anything like that, or a Li-Fi battery, you can set the value at which the tracker will start to beep when the alarm kicks in. And there we have it. I'll jump back to the main menu. Whoa. And I'm going to go back up and run because we have some flying to do. Off we go.
Okay guys, so Rob's just crashed over there. Got caught out by a branch you couldn't see through the video feed. Anybody that flies FPV will tell you sometimes you just don't see the little branches. and just turn that up a little bit. Right, so another great thing about this device, because it's so portable and easy to run around with, if you were out flying and for some reason your model went down, provided the VTX is still powered, you can use this unit to find your model. So I've had a brilliant day down the field with the guys. I've bought the Easy RSSI tracker with them. It is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Hopefully you got an idea of how well it works. We tried our best to show you how well it works. It's something that I was interested in, so this isn't for you, this is for me. This is what I wanted to see, how well it worked in the flesh, and I've got to say, what I've seen today, I'm really impressed. If you want solid signal from a tracking system that's compact and very easy to use, then this is the one. Look out for it. You've got a Kickstarter coming up for this, haven't you?
Launched at the beginning of April. It'll be a 30-day Kickstarter, which will be releasing a number of units for limited edition. So for the first run.
There's going to be a discount for the guys that get involved at the Kickstarter stage.
Indeed, yeah. There'll be a percentage drop on it.
Okay.
For the launch.
And can you talk about MSRP, manufacturer retail price?
The initial ones will be going out, the Kickstarter ones will be going out at £160 English pounds. The MRP are looking around 175.
Right, okay, so you can save a couple of quid by getting in early, guys. And when you think about what this replaces, it represents really good. Can I have a job? I'm sounding like I work for you. It really does represent good value. When you think about, by the time you've got GPS in your quad and everything for another type of tracking system, not only does this come in at the same money or less, it's easy.
Yeah.
Worth
noting it also includes the antennas within that cost, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so everything you need to go by the LiPo.
Yeah.
It needs a lithium polymer between 2 cell and 3 cell, as I understand. So, release date, when you're going to be starting the Kickstarter, I suppose?
Kickstarter will be the beginning of April. It'll run for 30 days. We should have first manufactured units out within 60 days after that.
So 2 months, 2 months after the, sounds better if you say 60 days, bit of marketing there. But 2 months, guys, it will be worth the wait. If it's anything like as good as the working prototype I've seen here today, it really will be worth the work. Great job, guys. I'll tell you what, I was hoping it was going to be good, and I'm really impressed. I tell you, you've really done something good for the FPV. Guys that are going to be using the 25, we're all stuck on 25 milliwatts in the UK, and that really does rein us in a long way. But with this system that you've come up with, not only can we get a reasonably good distance now, sort of towards the end of line of sight easily without any problems and beyond, we can also now fly in cluttered environments a lot easier, because this will track through buildings, through wooded areas. Somebody that wanted to fly FPV in a wooded area now, plonking it straight in the middle of the wooded area, and fly around yourself, you're going to get a solid signal. Because this definitely, you crashed a mile away, but unfortunately we didn't get footage of that. But you was behind trees, and you didn't crash because the signal cracked out. You just hit a twig.
I discovered, unfortunately, a few people on the path who went there before when I looked at it, and I had to avoid it and hit a tree.
So there you go. So and that was through trees and bushes, a good sort of 600 yards away from where we were, and I was watching the feed. Really good locked in signal. So look out for the Easy RSSI tracker from these guys. I will keep you updated on the channel. Rob's agreed, Rob and Tommy have agreed to send me a unit down for me to do a full review on it, so I'll be doing that when it comes down. Thanks for watching this episode. Please hit the subscribe and like button, and I will see you all in the next video.